Introducing to you guys Mr. Keron Rose. He's a digital strategist who has worked with Caribbean entrepreneurs and businesses across the region. He is the host of one of the top business podcasts in the Caribbean, Digipreneur FM, the radio show The Digital World on Freedom 106.5 FM, a column writer for both the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday and the Jamaican Observer. Now, Keron is also an advisor for the digital marketing program at the University of South Florida. He has worked with companies across the Caribbean such as Flow, Digicel, B-Mobile, Huawei, Sagicor, Scotiabank, Eastern Credit Union, FCB, WePlay, and Loop Caribbean. His goal is to constantly create educational content and programs to push Caribbean entrepreneurs to navigate the digital age and participate in the global economy. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us from Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Keron Rose.
Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing today? My session today is going to be on building a digital strategy for a small business. So I'm going to go ahead. If the tech team allow me to share my screen so we can get the party started. So you guys should be seeing my screen now. And again, our session is going to be on building a digital strategy for the SMEs in 2023. I think this is such an important topic because we know everything now to get to our customers, to nurture them, to educate them, to bring them in. Everybody is using these devices. They're using their phones, they're using their tablets, they're using the computers to find information about problems that they have or desires that they want to achieve. Just a quick show of hands in the room. By show of hand, who goes to do research before they make a big purchase? Just a show of hands in the room. Who goes to Google? Who does research before they make a big purchase? All right, I'm seeing a good bit of hands. Wonderful. So one of the reasons why that's so important and what I want to impress upon every single business owner is in the digital age, everybody is making their research before they make that big purchase. We want, as a business, we want to be the place where our customers, our audience, we want to be that resource center within our industry where everybody is doing the research on our platforms, using our content to base their decisions. That way, you get the business. Because ultimately, the person who does the most educating within their respective space, regardless of what the industry is usually who gets the phone call, the booking, or getting the person to come down to their actual stores to go and make that purchase. So without further ado, let's get started. And I want to just give you guys a little bit about me. And I also want you to keep in mind what I'm showing you with respects to the things that I do because I'm a small business owner as well. And I've had to put all of these things in place so that way I can grow my business across the Caribbean region and also the diaspora, right? So a little about me, what I do. I work with Caribbean entrepreneurs and businesses to build their digital presence and monetize their platforms. We've talked about who I've worked with already. I'm super passionate about educating the Caribbean community and leveraging digital tools and platforms so that they can participate in the global economy. Because now it's not enough to just get, the people within the radius of your brick and mortar store. You want to be able to sell and get customers all across the country. And even better, if you can build your platforms and start to get clients outside of your country, utilizing your e-commerce platforms, that is really how businesses are becoming sustainable in 2023. The Digipreneur FM podcast is one of the top podcasts all across the region through Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Dominica, St. Vincent. And it's a platform I use to educate people. But again, it's also a platform that brings in a lot of businesses. So if you've ever thought about having a podcast and wanted to know whether or not, Barbados was ready or the Caribbean was ready for listening to podcasts, they are listening to podcasts right now. What we lack a lot of Caribbean content on any of the podcast platforms. So I write for the Jamaica Observer and also the TT Newsday. And I do that because I also want to blend traditional methods and the digital methods. Now, rather than just taking out an ad in the papers, because that's what a lot of businesses do. And when they get the rates from the media houses to put an ad in the papers, they're like, well, I'm not going to spend all this money. I'd rather just go take out an ad on Facebook and run the ad there. What I want people to start thinking about is start moving away from ads. You want to start thinking about content. Think about how you can educate people in your industry. And the media houses now, because their own models and their business models are changing, they are looking for more contributors. So if you can start to contribute within your industry and reach out to some of the media houses, both within Barbados and also in other markets you are looking to do, just like I have with Jamaica and a couple other countries I'll be contributing to just now. But every single week, I have a piece of content, information, educating about digital strategy, e-commerce, marketing that goes out every single week and leverages the media houses platforms, both in print, because we know that there are people that still pick up the papers, C-suite executives still pick up the papers, and media houses upload all that content to their website. So it's digital as well. So you get the best of both worlds, both the papers, the physical print, but also the online presence with their platforms. And what a lot of people don't know is that all of the digital channels, like the search engines and social media platforms, they actually prioritize designated media houses in each country. That being, what I want to say is, if I have my own website and I put a blog on my website, I might get within the 5th spot. I might even get lower page 1. Sometimes you might even get page 2. But because search engines prioritize media houses in each country, they are going to index the content from a media house immediately, and they are always going to get within the first 5 slots on page 1. So if you start to take your content that you are creating and contribute to a media house, that's another great way to get your content featured on page 1 at the top. And again, we all know when we are doing our research, we don't necessarily go to page 2. Sometimes if we're desperate, but the person or the business that's on page 1 giving us the information is typically who gets the call. And that's one of the big reasons why traditional media is never going to go away. And small businesses like yourself, who are typically experts within your space, can start to become contributors. Even if it's just a once a month article or 2 times a week, as long as you can start to contribute, you can start to leverage media houses platforms to get information. With the radio show, radio stations are live streaming their recorded sessions. So even though we're on the nation's airwaves, we are still going to be broadcasting to the world. And again, another great way to contribute and still leverage traditional media and still be digital at the same time. Again, I'm really big on small businesses starting to combine traditional media and digital channels. That way you can build a holistic strategy. I've done this so much to the point where now I'm also advisor at the University of South Florida for their digital marketing program. And again, it's just another way to build your digital presence, to build authority. So if you can start to contribute at any of the institutions across the region, within your space, within your field, again, that's going to go towards building your profile, building your digital presence, and building that authority. And if you can be the most authoritative person in your space as a small business owner, you're going to separate yourself from the market. So, all that being said, what is a digital strategy? Well, let me break that down. A digital strategy involves using various online and digital marketing tactics and tools to connect with target audiences, build brand awareness, and generate leads, drive traffic, increase online sales, and achieve other desired outcomes. The goal of a digital strategy is to leverage the power of digital technologies and online channels to effectively reach, engage, and convert your target audience in the digital realm, ultimately driving business in the digital age. This involves identifying your target audience, conducting market research, developing a consistent brand identity and messaging, optimizing your online presence, creating and distributing relevant content, leveraging social media to build a community in your industry, using paid advertising campaigns to amplify your content and your messaging, optimizing your website and your content for search engines, utilizing email marketing, measuring and analyzing digital marketing efforts, and selling through your e-commerce platform. I know it sounds a lot, and there's a lot of moving pieces. The good news is that you have companies like Flow Business that's taking a lot of the building of the channels and all the nuts and bolts out of everything I just said and doing it for you. And the good news is that you can also learn a lot of these things on your own as a small business owner. For me, when I got started, I didn't have the budget to go and just hire people to do digital marketing or to do PR or to build my websites or to do search engine optimization for me. And if you don't have the money or the resources, bet your bottom dollar, you need to find the time to learn these skills. So in between doing everything I was doing, in my first business was a phone store business, and I had a brick and mortar store. In between doing all of that, I was taking courses, educating myself, and learning how to do these things for myself, for my business, so that I can build my business. So here are my 11 key components of a digital strategy for a small business. And the good news is a lot of these things you can start doing for free or for very cheap. A lot of these things is not about, jumping out the gate and spending big money, but it's, learning how to put these things in place. And again, if you want to have a company build some of these components for you, the good news is that we do have Flow Business that builds a lot of these components, and you can learn how to do these things for yourself as well. So if you don't have the money and the resources to pay, you can find the time to learn how to do it yourself. So these are my 11 key components of a digital strategy. Number one, your website. Your website is critical. At this point in time, not having a website, there is way more downside to not having a website. It's mandatory. Your email list. With how social media is going in 2023, you're really going to want to have an email list, because social media in 2023 is all over the place. Number three, push notifications list. This is huge, because a lot of the reasons why people used to want to build applications was so that they can push out notifications to people's devices. Well, you don't have to build an app to leverage the power of push notifications. We do have something called web push notifications that would allow you to send designated notifications to people's computers, their tablets, and their mobile devices. 4, social media. You gotta have social media. As crazy as social media is, and as much as it's changing every single day, what it seems like, social media is still a big component of what we do. 5, content creation. Every single platform you can possibly think of right now wants content. Whether it's digital or whether it's traditional, everybody wants content. I think one of the big problems that we face in the Caribbean is that businesses aren't creating content. We are still trying to rely on ads, and ads are not getting the job done. We are so trained to ignore ads that now you need to start producing content. And one of the things that businesses do now is they run to influencers and say, hey, can you create content on behalf of my business? But most times it doesn't even line up. We're not using the right influencers, or maybe we don't have the right influencers within your particular category that you could leverage for it to make sense. The good news is, you as the business owner, you can become the biggest influencer within your space and be the influencer for your company, leveraging content creation. Number 6, data and analytics. It is a data-driven world. If you are not collecting your own data, if you're not learning how to interpret your own data or build a strategy off of your data and analytics, you're stabbing in the dark. You're just throwing things at the wall, hoping it sticks. We have never had this much access to data in all of our industries in any country than ever before. It's just learning how to collect our own data and learning how to do our own market research. Number 7, SEO, search engine optimization, huge. If you think about when you go on Google or Bing and you type in a question, I'm sure some of you have asked, well, how does Google and these platforms know to show me the information that it does. That is called search engine optimization, optimizing your content to be found via search. And the ethos of the search engines is they want you to create relevant content for relevant search queries. And that's where digital market research really comes in. Number 8, e-commerce. E-commerce is huge because as of right now, let me see a show of hands in the room. Who shops online? Show of hands. Who shops online? Show of hands. I should see the entire room's hands. If your hand is not up, what are we doing? Are you going to the store every single time to make a purchase? All right, cool. Looks like the majority of the room is hands up. All right, hands up if you do the majority of your online shopping before work. Before you go to work, who is online shopping? I know we got shopaholics in there. Don't be shy. It's a safe space. We don't judge. Show of hands before work. All right. Who does their online shopping during work? I should see half the crowd. Online shopping during work hours. You're sneaking to jump on Amazon and one click buy, you're making your purchases. All right. And hands up in the room if you do your shopping at nighttime. Maybe you're doing it before bed. Maybe you can't sleep. You wake up to drink some water and you're catching a flash sale at 1 o'clock in the morning. Don't be shy, save space. Hands up if you do your shopping at night. Perfect. So you want to have an e-commerce ready platform because I know each and every one of you have tried to buy from a local business that did not have a website, and you had to DM that business on social media, and they took 2 to 3 days. I've even seen some businesses respond a year later. And by the time they respond, you have no longer interest in purchasing that particular product because you have already ordered it online. Has any of that happened to you? Show of hands. Has that happened to you where you message a business and they just take too long to respond that you lose interest in the product and you go somewhere else? Hands up in the room if that's happened to you. Perfect. That is something that happens all the time. So when your business does not have an e-commerce platform and businesses have to actually speak to you, they got to message you and contact you to do business, that can decrease your opportunity for sale because it shrinks your window for actually doing business. Most of us are shopping before work, sometimes during work, where again, you're physically at work, or you're shopping at nighttime. Again, most of those businesses are closed at that particular time. E-commerce allows your business to never be closed. People can go to your platform to make that purchase. Next up is paid advertising, right? Paid advertising can be used to amplify your message and amplify your content. Digital market research, again, learning how to do research digitally now so that all of the data that's being collected on us, learning how we can tap into that. And the last key component for me is your CRM. Don't worry, I'm going to be going a bit deeper into each of these components. Your customer relationship manager tool. So let me break down each of these components as to why they're so important. So number 1, your website. This is your digital home. It contains your business info, allows you to show up in search engines and handles your e-commerce, and it collects the most amount of data on your audience. So when you go on Google and you type in that search, right? You type in that search, 90% of what you see on the results page on any search engine is a link to a website. So when we look at the yearly data from Hootsuite, and we see each Caribbean island, the top websites that they go to every single year, number 1 is Google for every single country, right? And if 90% of the results page on the search engines is links to a website, and that's the number 1 place that we go to get information about whatever we do. You have a cough, you jump on Google. Hey, I have a cough. It's wet, it's heavy. WebMD says, congratulations, you now have stage 4 cancer, right? You have a couple minutes, a couple weeks to live. But we go to search engines to get information on whatever our problems are. You're hearing a knock in the car, you jump on Google, you're typing in the sounds and to potentially see what is going on. And again, When you look at the information on the results page, the majority of it is linked to a website. So if you're a business that does not have a website, you are not participating in the number one way that people go to get information. Another big problem that we face in the Caribbean is when we go on the search engines and we're typing in our questions and our queries, we are getting information from markets outside of the region. We'll get information from the US or the UK. And I'm sure you know, think about your own respective space, 90% of that information from other markets is not relevant and actually damaging for us in the Caribbean because the information is just not relevant to us. And if you were to take a lot of that advice, you probably can't implement it or it would lead you down the wrong path. And this is happening because we don't have businesses that have websites for the most part, nor are they creating content and putting it on their platforms. That way, Caribbean information and content can be displayed on the search engines, all right? And then also with respects to e-commerce is not available on any social media platform in the entire Caribbean. So when you are hearing experts in the States and the UK, Australia, when they're talking about you don't need a website to sell, that's true for them because there's Facebook Shop, and Facebook Shop allows you to create your products. You can add to cart on Facebook and you can make the purchase without having to leave Facebook. Same thing with Instagram Shop. Same thing with TikTok Shop. None of that is available for us in the Caribbean, which means we need to drive traffic from social media to our website, and we want our website to be e-commerce ready. That way the sale can happen on our website. So that's why I say not having a website it's impossible. You need to have a website because that's how you're going to show up. You're showing up for the information within your industry, and that's where people are going to be making their purchases, all right? And again, we're all in business. So you need to have your website. Otherwise, if you're not making money from your digital platforms, it's an expense and this might just be a hobby rather than a money-making venture. Number 2, email lists. Email marketing allows you to own the data and the relationship with your audience. It's best used to nurture your potential clients and prime them for selling when they are ready to buy. There is also, and this is important, there is no algorithm standing between you and your audience when you are sending out your email marketing. So with your emails, you actually own the data. And with how social media, every single platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, there's too much, Twitter, there is too much chaos happening on every single platform, right? TikTok might be gone in a couple of months because of the looming TikTok ban worldwide. That is a whole channel that might be gone. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram have all launched payment options, monthly payment options that would allow businesses to pay for their blue service to get verified, to extend their organic reach, and also see less ads in their feeds. So what happens to regular users that are not going to pay for those services? They may start to drop off. As a matter of fact, a cybersecurity company calculated all of the searches for 2022 on how to delete social media platforms, and Instagram was number 1 in 2022 with almost 1 million searches last year on how to delete and get rid of all of their Instagram accounts and delete the data. So people are actively looking to get off of social media. If you are in business, okay, your business is not going to go anywhere. But if you only have social media and people are starting to drop off social media due to all the changes, you still want them to come to your platform. So start to convert that social media traffic, get people on your email list. That way you own that information and data, and you can own that relationship. Next up, our push notifications list. This allows you to send out your notifications to content. Maybe you want to do flash sales. I'm sure we get messages on our phone every single day from different applications talking about sales or new content that just came out. You can have that with your own push notifications list. one of the tools I use, and you guys can make note, a tool I use for my push notifications is called One Signal. One Signal connects to my website and it shows a pop-up as people land. Hey, do you want to keep up to date on everything happening with Keron Rose? People say yes, they get added to the notification list. So as soon as I release new content, they get a message on whatever device they have subscribed with. That could be their phone, that could be their tablet, that could be their computer. When I want to do flash sales, when I'm doing events like this, I send out notifications. That way you can increase the traffic back to your platforms and you stay top of mind because again, everybody is checking their phone. So when they subscribe and they get the notifications on their phone, that might be more top of mind than people checking their emails because there are people who don't check their emails every day. But everybody, even if it's to go and clear their notifications, everybody checks their notifications every single day. Next, social media. Social media continues to change daily, but the most consistent thing about social media channels is that it allows businesses to build a community around their industry and engage with their audience. It's also one of the best ways to distribute the content that will help to build your community and eventually turn them into buyers and advocates of your brand. So the one thing that is consistent, regardless of whatever the social media platform is, you as the business should be looking at social media not as a channel to just run ads because oh man, the majority of our businesses across the region, that's what we're doing. We create this ad that we run in the papers and we just take those newspaper ads and we throw those flyers on social media and then wonder why nobody is liking our stuff. Why are we only getting 5 likes? Why are we only getting 2 comments? And then you're spending all this money on paid advertising on social media just to boost this ad. And then you'll see results like, hey, 50,000 people have viewed the ad, but 10 people have liked it and nobody engaged. That is a failure of a campaign and a waste of your budget. So stop thinking about social media as a platform to just run ads. Think about social media as a platform to create content and build a community. And your best performing piece of content, that is what you can amplify and spend money on to increase the reach and increase the eyeballs to that educational piece of content that you have dropped, those tips you have dropped. Though that maybe you use some advertising dollars to sponsor the campaign you're doing with the influencer. But again, create content, build a community, and think about social media as that way to build a community. All right. Which brings me into content creation. Again, we're discussing the key components of a digital strategy, all right? Content creation. Creating educational, entertaining, and inspiring content is the best form of marketing today. Every platform you use wants content, and your audience is looking for you to solve their problems or help them achieve their desires. Your content also, most importantly, positions you as a leader and primes your audience to buy. So when they finally do contact you, it's to make a purchase. Creating content is one of the best things because you know what? You could be qualifying your content. Your content could be qualifying your ideal customer, right? Qualifying them for months. They could be consuming your content for months. And then by the time they are ready to make that purchase, they reach out to you and you realize there's almost no questions that they're asking. They're just ready to buy. And that's because your content, when done correctly, has been educating them, nurturing them. So by the time they're ready to pull the trigger, they already know they are coming to you and there's minimal questions to ask. It might just be like, hey, where do I go to book the appointment? But they're not really asking a whole lot of questions. When you do not create content, then people want to get on the phone or come down and visit you. And that's when they have their laundry list of questions to ask you. And you might not close a sale that day, or you might be forced to hard sell them. And that rubs people the wrong way now. But when you are creating content, your content is social selling. There's no commitment. They can consume it at their time, at their leisure. And when they're ready to buy, the conversation for selling is to a minimum. And you're easily able to convert them when you create your content. Data and analytics. So again, we live in a data-driven world today. We're collecting data and learning to interpret it, and building strategies based on it will help you tailor your business offerings and content to reach your ideal buyer. Failure to use data will have you spinning top in mud, and you will not have a deep understanding of your ideal customers. So make note of this. Here are some key tools that you should have in your business that allow you to collect data on your specific audience. Number one is Google Analytics. Google Analytics collects a ton of data on every person that visits your website. Google Search Console. Google Search Console gives you the data on how your website is performing on Google Search. It shows you what types of keywords people are using to even find you. It shows you what pages, what pieces of content of yours on your website is actually being found, and how many times it's being found, and how many impressions it's getting on the Google search. Hootsuite's another great tool to use to collect data on social media on your audience. Same thing with Sprout Social. Now, SEMrush is an advanced tool, and SEMrush has their own academy that trains you on how to collect data and how to become a search engine optimization specialist. That tool is an advanced tool, but the data and insights that you get from SEMrush are second to none. And again, gives you a deep level of understanding about your audience. And then there's also HubSpot. HubSpot is a customer relationship manager tool. It also collects a ton of data. One of my favorite aspects of HubSpot, it connects to my website. It tells me, hey, this specific person who came to your website, they joined your email list. It shows me that person's name. It then shows me what platform that person came from. They came from Google, they came from LinkedIn, they came from Instagram. This was the first piece of content that brought them to the website. If they make a purchase on the website, it shows how much money that specific person has spent on your platform. It tracks all of that, right? And that's just a piece. That's not even 1% of what HubSpot does. But at the end of the day, at the end of the month, HubSpot can tell me, hey, this month, Facebook is what drew the most business to your business. It generated the most leads, it generated the most sales, or it was LinkedIn, or it was Bing. And best believe, Bing is making a comeback. They just invested in ChatGPT. I'm starting to see a lot more people find my website because of Bing. So Bing is another channel that, again, HubSpot will track and tell you, are people coming in from Bing, all right? And then there's also Bing Webmaster Tools, and that shows you your performance of your website on the Bing search engine, and also give you some great tools to understand your audience that are using the Bing search engine. Now, one of the things that I know people struggle with is what types of content can your business create? We're so busy creating ads. We're running to Canva, create an ad. Here's the product, here's the service, and here's the price tag. But I want you to get away from that, right? So here are 13 different types of content that you can create within your business. And I hope this starts to stir some ideas. 1, blogs. Blogs are going to be hosted on your website, right? Again, helps you to drive traffic from the search engines. 2, social media posts, right? Infographics. 4, short and long form videos. I know you think people don't have a big attention span now. Listen, people only have a short attention span to bad content, because you know what? We are sitting in the movie theater watching Avatar 2 for 3.5 hours and not getting up. We are on YouTube watching a 45-minute video from our favorite creators. We are even watching 3 to 5 minute videos on TikTok or Instagram from our favorite creators if the content is good. We have countless examples of us spending lots of time watching and consuming content. The difference is the content is good. So anybody that says short form content is the way to go, people do not have an attention span, dead wrong. They have an attention span, but only for good content. That brings me to podcasts. Podcast is one of my favorite types of content to create, because podcasting, because it's audio, is the only type of content that allows for passive consumption. So when you think about it, if you're going to read a blog, you got to read the blog. You actually have to read it. When you're going to watch a video, you have to watch the video to get the most out of it. Sure, you can play it in the background, but chances are they're going to be displaying things you have to watch. But with podcasts, we could be driving, we could be cooking, we could be at the gym. We press play on that podcast. The podcast could be 45 minutes long. We press play, put on our headphones, or we play out loud, and we're able to do other things. We could work out, we can cook, we can drive, we can do chores. Audio content is the only form of content that allows for passive consumption. It's also the most intimate of all types of content. So somebody could be taking a shower, right? Getting ready for work, and your voice is in their private space while they're getting ready for work, taking a shower, and they're listening to you, consuming every single word you have to say. So audio content, podcasts allow you to be in private spaces and again, allow for passive consumption, right? And if you think you're in an industry where you cannot create an audio podcast because what you do is visual, I would recommend going on Google, typing in your industry, and then typing in podcast. So you could type in construction podcast and you could see all of the construction podcasts. Listen to a couple to see, oh, wow, this is how they're doing an audio podcast on something like construction or landscaping. And I thought it only could be visual, but this is how they're doing it in an audio format. And that should give you some ideas of how you can create an audio podcast, right? Next up, case studies. Everybody can do case studies. We don't see enough of them, and they're one of the best and most powerful types of content. News contributions. So again, leverage the media houses. Reach out to the media houses to see if you can contribute, because that's an established audience, both for print, and you have the benefit of them uploading your content online to expand your digital presence. And bonus to that, Google and the search engines are actively monitoring how many times you are being mentioned in the press. And the more you get mentioned in the press, they actively help to boost your search engine rankings to help you get onto page one. So the more times your business and brand is being mentioned in the press, the search engines use that as signals to help boost your brand to get you on page one of the search engine. Next up, webinars. Webinars are still big. You probably don't want to do them as frequently because, we've done 1 million webinars during the pandemic, but webinars still have their use cases. You don't have to do them as frequently, and just make sure they're very focused. That way, again, people can learn from these webinars. Number 9, comparisons. Be brave. Talk about other products and other companies in your industry. Compare products and services. Compare methodologies. Be the resource center. You want to get your audience learning about everything related to your industry on your platform. So if you can do that and everybody is coming to your platform to even learn about their competitors, then you're going to be winning. You're going to be the one that's top of mind. 10, newsletters. So again, build out your email newsletters. Surveys are still great. If you're in an industry where there's a lot of terminology, people don't necessarily know them. So you could create content educating people about the terms in your industry. And last but not least, tips. Tips are never going to go away. You could always create content on tips. All right. We're almost through my presentation. Then we're going to take some questions. So you can save your questions for last, but we're almost through my presentation. All right. So again, we're still talking key components of a digital strategy, and I just wanted to give you guys some types of content to create, because they when you think about the different types of content, that will also help you with, where is that content going to go? Podcasts, blogs, YouTube channel. Again, all those things increase your digital presence. So search engine optimization, SEO. When you use Google, Bing, or any search engine, the information is gathered from billions of websites to answer your question. Having your website allows you to participate in the number one way that everybody looks to gather information. So your business wants to be on page one, but again, you want to have that website so that way you can be showing up on the search engine. Even if you look at images, because we do image searches, when you click on the images tab, all those images come from websites. The link to the website is right there. So again, you're Images are also going to be indexed by the search engines. Your YouTube videos, because YouTube is a part of Google, it's a search engine as well. So your YouTube videos show up, but no social media content shows up on the search engines, right? So your TikTok video, your Instagram video is not going to show up, but you can put those videos on YouTube and YouTube Shorts, and that's going to show up in the search engine. So keep that in mind. Your e-commerce, again, we have e-commerce platforms. You can have Flow, build yourself an e-commerce ready website. You want to have an e-commerce ready website because you want people to shop on your website at 2 o'clock in the morning. When they wake up, they grab a glass of water, can't go back to sleep. Oh, let me go clear my cart. Let me go make that purchase right now. There is no greater feeling, especially as a small business owner. There is no greater feeling than myself waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, grabbing my glass of water and checking my phone, seeing new order, and that order was done at 11 o'clock at night. I feel great. And when I wake up in the morning and I see new order at 5 o'clock in the morning, that is a great way to start your day. You literally feel like $1 million on the way to making $1 million. Also going again, we're talking about digital strategy for the businesses, right? So paid advertising is still going to be big, but you don't want to be spending money behind just ads. You want to focus on putting ad dollars behind your best performing content. All right. And how can we know what people want? Well, how do we know what kind of content to create? Well, that's where digital market research is going to come in. Search engines collect the most data on your audience, and learning SEO will teach you how to do market research and what your audience is looking for their demographics, where they are located, and what platforms they are using. Let me give you guys a quick way to figure out what is the top searches within your industry. So the search engines, Google, right? They all have geolocation turned on. So because I'm in Trinidad, whatever I type in is going to show me the information from Trinidad first before it ever shows me information outside. So you can use Google Auto Suggest. This is a quick, easy, free way to see what the top searches are in your respective industry on any topic. So let's just say we had the House of Rose pancakes, right? I wanted to know what are Trinities looking for with respects to pancakes. Well, I could type in the word pancakes into, if I could spell, type in the word pancakes into Google Auto Suggest. And every time you see a search and there's a magnifying glass, this is going to show you the top searches that happened in Trinidad with the word pancakes over the last 7 days. So for you, it's going to be the top searches that happened in Barbados over the last 7 days. So for me, pancakes, there is pancake swap, there's pancakes recipe fluffy, pancakes without eggs, pancakes without milk, pancakes in Trinidad, pancakes recipe easy, pancakes without eggs and milk. Those are the top searches in the last 7 days in Trinidad with the word pancakes. So if I as the business owner, if I want to create content, if that's the top search within the last 7 days, well, guess what? Let me go and create a video and put it up on YouTube, because YouTube's a search engine, get it up on my website, maybe in the form of a written blog, and also put that content on social media. If people want to know pancakes without eggs and milk, well, if they're searching for it and I create it and I put it on my website, I put it on YouTube and I get on social media, well, when people are searching for it, well, guess whose video, guess whose blog, guess whose podcast, guess whose information is going to come up? It'll be my content, right? So that's something you can do. You can type in any industry, type in steel, right? Look for the magnifying glass. The top searches in the last 7 days for steel in Trinidad, steel pan drawing, steel prices. Again, you could use that for your content purposes to what to create. And it just gives you a quick, easy, free way to see what people in your industry, in your country are looking for within your space. All right. Hopefully you remember that. Google Auto Suggest, type in whatever topic you want. Doesn't matter what it is. Just type it in. That's a quick, easy, free way to see what people are looking for within your space. And last but not least, our CRM. So your customer relationship management tool will manage your customer data and your relationship with your customer. It's also going to help you collect data on your customers to help build a deeper understanding of who they are. One of the top CRMs that I use where you get a lot of free features, and I still use the free version as well, is called HubSpot. 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 That collects a lot of data on my customers. You can put in all of your sales information when it's happening. There's a HubSpot Academy that has hundreds of courses of how to leverage the HubSpot tool so that you can learn how to use it within your business to manage your relationships with your customers and also collect data. All right. Last but not least, before we get into the question part, here are some of the courses that I recommend everybody check out. There's HubSpot Academy. I think at this point, you should be doing something along the lines of a content marketing course so you can learn how to best create content within your business and also distribute that content across all the different digital channels. You could also take their SEO course, their search engine optimization course, because you guys are going to be getting a website. Whether you have Flow build out your website, they can build the website for you and they can hand you the keys. But then you're going to have to create the content and you're going to have to learn how to get that content to show up on the search engines. All right. So HubSpot Academy has an SEO course. You can also do SEMrush Academy, and they have a great content marketing course, an SEO course, social media marketing, and a PPC, a paid advertising course that you guys can check out. There's also Yoast Academy. Yoast is a great SEO tool. So you could look at their search engine optimization tool. Their keyword research tool is a great course to learn how to tap into all of the data that Google collects on our industries in all of the countries in the world. And then you can now use that data that they're collecting, use that within your business and marketing strategy. All right. That's Yoast Academy. And then there is Google Digital Garage. Check out their digital marketing course and also their content marketing course. So these are the top platforms that you guys can do. The good news is every single academy and course I just spoke about is free. So every single small business owner can get started on these courses to expand their knowledge and do it for free without having to pay for anything. I'm not showing any of the paid courses because I want everybody to get started as soon as they possibly can. All right. And if you have any questions, I'm gonna take questions now. If we could take a couple questions, but you guys can also email me at info@keronrose.com. You can go to my website, keronrose.com, to learn more about building your digital presence, monetizing your platforms. All of my content I post on my website as well, along with my social media platforms. Or you can reach out to me on any social media platform at Keron Rose, KERONROSE, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I am the most active on LinkedIn and Instagram. So any of those platforms, you guys can definitely reach out to me. And again, I'm always putting out content, educational content, building your digital presence and monetizing your platforms. So that is it for my presentation. I think if we have any questions, we could take a couple of questions. And then I know we got Lisa coming in up next.
All right, I'm Barbados from Clarity Media. One of the questions I wanted to ask is about how you find working within the different borders in the Caribbean digitally. I know you mentioned that you have a presence in Jamaica. I know you're based in Trinidad, but how do you find working in terms of optimizing your presence on their Google or Bing browsers?
So great question. So one of the things that I do is the skill that I've learned that has helped me the absolute most to learn about what is happening and what the needs are of the people within each country within my space is search engine optimization, right? And when you take some of the SEO courses, the search engine optimization courses, they put you in contact with a lot of the tools that allow us to extract all of the data that Google and Bing is collecting on us. So for me, when I'm creating my content or when I'm trying to, see exactly, what is happening within my space, I like to start with what are people looking for within each country. So I can go and I can see, hey, what are people looking for within Jamaica with respects to e-commerce. I can see all the questions that they're asking with some of these tools. And then I can now turn that into content and also turn that into a business offering, right? So let me give you a quick example, right? Am I able to share my screen one last time? I'll give you a quick example just to show you. And again, I think this is so powerful, so I'll make it very quick. If we could share my screen one last time, I'll give you guys a freebie. All right, perfect. So there is a tool that I use called Answer the Public, okay? Answer the Public. What this tool does is a freemium tool. So they give you 3 free searches per day, right? You can select the country that you want information for, and there's pretty much almost every single country in the world. So if I want Trinidad, if I want Jamaica, if I want Barbados, again, go find the country that you want. They have pretty much almost every single Caribbean country here, right? St. Vincent, you name it. So I go to the country, I type in Trinidad, I could type in business, right? Whatever your industry is, whatever your topic is. Once I hit search, what happens is this tool is gonna scrape Google's data set, and it's gonna collect every single question that everybody has asked around that topic in your specified country. Once I see what everybody is looking for within the countries, that informs my business strategy, that informs my marketing strategy, that informs what type of products and services do I want to offer those particular industries. So for Trinidad right now, this is the last 30 days worth of data. People are asking things like, are business cards still relevant? Are business expenses tax deductible? Can business accounts use Zelle? Can business accounts on Instagram use music? Can business casual include jeans? Can business make you rich? This is every single question Trinis have asked around business over the last 30 days. So you have over 735 questions Trinis have asked around business. So using a tool like Answer the Public gives you a good understanding of what is happening within your industry. I've stopped sharing my screen, perfect. Gives you a good understanding as to what is happening within your space in each different Caribbean island, and then I can start to tailor my product offering and also my marketing and content efforts to suit.
I'm inviting you to comment briefly on for small businesses, service and product item related. What are your comments for businesses who want to actually integrate payment portals as part of their digital strategy? I would love to hear your comments on that.
So I think at this point in time, it's mandatory, because when you can integrate your payment portals like WePay, like First Atlantic Commerce, just to name a few, PayPal as well, right? When you can integrate these payment portals into your website, it allows people now to conduct business on your website at any point in time. The reason why you want to have your website, as I had mentioned earlier, is because none of the e-commerce features are enabled in the Caribbean on any social media platform. So whereas in the States, you can create the Facebook shop, Instagram shop, and the payments happen on social media, so you don't have to leave. So you can get away with not having a website. For us in the Caribbean, we don't have those options. So we need to have our website. You want to integrate your payment options. What I would recommend to everybody is whatever platform you're going to use to build your website. If you're going to build your website on your own, if you're going to use Flow Business, if you're going to go to a web developer, whatever platform that you're going to use, you want to ask the most important question: what payment gateway integrates on this platform? Because one of the biggest issues Caribbean businesses specifically run into is you hire a developer. That person might be on Fiverr. They might be a developer you found in the UK, wherever. You find a developer, they build your website on a platform where none of the Caribbean payment gateways integrate with. And then you're stuck with a website that could only ever be used for informational purposes, and you can't make the sale. So the most important question to ask when you are getting your websites built is, what payment gateways connect or integrate to this payment platform that we are using? That way you know if a Caribbean gateway can work. And once your Caribbean gateway works, the money can then be deposited into your local account without having any problem. So again, I think it's mandatory. Get yourself an e-commerce ready website.
Thank you, Keron. Thank you for that response. Your suggestion of perhaps Caribbean gateways that can be used. That's one, and two, beyond the ability of Caribbean-based businesses to use the social media apps that are not geared for our market. Do you think we'll ever come to that point where we are going to be able to use those apps controlled by these international social media channels to facilitate business and payment transactions? That's number two. And number one, the reminder is, what are your suggestions of Caribbean gateways? Just clarify that for me. Thank you.
All right, so Caribbean gateways that can be used, the big one is First Atlantic Commerce. That's the biggest payment gateway in the Caribbean. First Atlantic Commerce, right? You can go to their website. You can see all of the countries that they work in. And again, these payment gateways allow you to process payments on your website, and they process payments from credit cards from anywhere in the world. So if you want to earn US dollars, they can process in US dollars or in your local currency. The second big gateway in the Caribbean is WePay, W-I-P-A-Y, WePay, right? First Atlantic Commerce, WePay, those are the two big Caribbean payment gateways. They integrate in a wide assortment of platforms, but check their websites out first to see what website building platforms that they work with, and then you can go from there, all right? And are we ever going to get to the point where we in the Caribbean are going to get access to e-commerce on social media? So you might not have to have a website. Chances are probably never. Think about how long Facebook, Instagram, these platforms are well over 10 years now, and we have never gotten them. With the way things are going on social media, I don't expect us to get it. And it's again, they keep a lot of those features. It's not just like we're the only ones. The majority of the world doesn't have access to e-commerce on Facebook, so it's not just a Caribbean thing. A lot of those features are mainly for the US because it's a US company. They have it for the US. A lot of those, I'm from Canada. A lot of those features we don't even have in Canada as well. So chances are we're not gonna, but I don't dwell on it. What I do dwell on is, what do we have access to and start to use it? So I'm not going to wait for Facebook to get Facebook Shop, because to me, that's an excuse that people use a lot. Well, I'll just wait for Facebook to get a Facebook Shop before I do it. No, don't wait for any of that. Start to use what you have available, and then we'll worry about, what we get access to if and when we ever get access to it.